the masks obviously don't protect us. It's just a way for us to die a little bit inside, you know. And then the coercive vaccinations, you know, if you have to take it to go to an overseas trip, you die a little bit inside and you lose a bit of your identity. And then after a while, you're just nobody. You're just one of their slaves. So we know that that's happening. But what they didn't count on is us, right? Look at this. This is a small community, and there's, I would say, maybe 80 people, 100 people, and this is amazing. There is more people at home that support us, and there's people all over Australia. This group is growing massively. It's because of you, obviously. But Daniel Andrews did not count on this, and we are not laying down and letting this happen again. So I'd love to see I don't want to see the borders closed, but would love to see how we're going to react when that happens. So I hope
we live in a panoramic world.
Now, we got Jerry here, who has come all the way from Melbourne. He comes to every single event. And we really want him to be a stand in his community to bring everyone together. So you're going to do that, aren't you, Jerry? Or are you going to run for parliament?
Thank you, Butcher. There you go, mate.
Yeah? All right, cool. Well, I'll let you speak then.
It's your friends there.
Thank you, Wodonga. Thank you, Morgan and Monica, for bringing people together. I'm 4 years in Australia, about 5 years next month, and I came from South Sudan. Monica, I'm waiting for Peter Dutton to finish my paperwork to become an Australian citizen in paper, but I'm already an Australian in values. So when Peter Dutton does that, I'll call a press conference. I will tell you my next move. I took off last night at about 7:30 from Melbourne. I live in Essendon. I fueled my car up and I said, call Morgan. I told them I'm coming to Wodonga. At about 10:30, I pulled up here. I did not book a hotel. I'm right outside here, about 10:39. And I called all the motels and they were full. So I got one at Aubrey. It's called Fontaine. This young man was there where I was staying. I went there, got into my room, I went outside. And what I saw when I went to the pub nearby, it was like crossing from Western Germany to Eastern Germany during the
We're in Wodonga. This is the Reignite Democracy Australia.
My action was showing me that I have been under Daniel Andrews for the last 6 months, while the people around me were acting differently. It has shown how much a politician or a government can brainwash you. And one toughest thing...
I'm standing back at the moment because I've got a cigarette in my hand.
They install fear in you that what they're telling you is
I'll get closer after.
There's nobody you will not turn against, even your own children, if they tell you what they're saying is not true. So government has got a lot of power.
There was more coppers here before, but I just walked away. I had about 5 cars here.
Why am I here? There's no color among us here. We are all
border town.
I work as a construction worker, starting all at 6 in the morning to 5:30 in the evening. I never knew what is going on. I work at all the level crossing Daniel Andrews has done with his Chinese money. But when he locked us down, one thing during the lockdown broke everything that I was respecting. It was the action of my colleagues that I call them colleagues of brothers, the Victoria Police. The Victoria Police went and arrested a pregnant woman in the house in the sitting room. Victoria Police, Australia as a country, are far better off than that action. That action is only possible in Middle East, in third world countries, or in China. And up to now, neither Daniel Andrews nor Victoria Police apologized to that mother. I saw last night she's fighting in court to clean her name from Victoria Police. And Victoria Police have got fathers among them, they've got mothers among them, and I don't know where their moral values gone to. Yeah. Say sorry to that woman, for God's sake. That is the reason I'm here, because of her. If they can do that to her, then what are they going not to do to anybody? I've said several times, Australia is a great country. The reason I say it's a great country is not because it hasn't done any mistake. Like all other countries that started, they started on a wrong footing. But what made Australia great is how it pulled itself together and even look out for others like me and offer them freedom. What do you expect again for a country to be great more than that? And action of Donald Andrews and his government were not showing how great Australia is. They were putting Australia down. I will not leave this forum or this platform without saying something. The media, all of them, 7, 9, Sky News, all of them, they are indoctrinating our people.
Any questions or anything, guys?
Within my community, there are activists
No masks here.
who came in here as humanitarian.
Even the coppers haven't got them on, actually.
And when they come here, they got free education, they got good income,
Yep,
they
face
got jobs.
nappies.
And instead of pressing Australia and taking up responsibility for areas that they see are not working well, they are actually trying to condemn the whole country. That's not how you reward a country that given you life. As South Sudanese, where I come from, who live in Australia, live in a better country than anywhere else. And on that basis, you are not going to be shouting more about what is wrong about Australia. I always telling them, if there's a particular person who is a racist at you, call us all, we will come in this number and we will deal with that person. Don't put a blanket racism on everybody. How do you know if a white man or a white woman come in front of you and you just use the blanket statement that all white are racist? How do you know that this is a Jew who have suffered in the hand of Hitler? How do you know? They all look white. How would you know that this is an Irish that has lost all his family members from the Kingdom of Britain? How do you differentiate them? There is no privilege. I'm privileged now here compared to a black person in South Sudan. Because I got Medicare, I got all the facilities I have. If it is privilege, I'm privileged. So the same way I'm privileged and other black people are not privileged is the same reason why I said we shouldn't use blanket statement on everybody. We should respect ourselves.
Well, I hope everyone's good today.
Respect the country.
Hope everyone's had a good week.
Give us room and work hard to make it better, not reduce it. Finally, this is my first move out of Victoria, out of Melbourne, and I love it. I'm looking forward to come back again. And if I come back next time, there's one thing that we need to change in this world. The lack of young people in this is really
See, Anastasia's trying to ramp it up where you are, Caboolture.
But I've got short time compared to a 20-year-old. So we need young people. Young people are being indoctrinated by the government, and it is them that the future lies. And we need to bring them out. We need to engage them. That's why I like what Morgan and Monica are doing. We should let Victoria talk to each other. Political correctness doesn't help. Freedom of speech. Let me say what I want to say. If I'm wrong, I will be radical and I will not say it again. With this few remarks, thank you very much, Wodonga, for welcoming me. And thank you, Monica.
Wow, that was very inspirational. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barry. This is the kind of people we want coming to our country, right? Yes, we need more Jerrys in our life.
And they're talking about buddy making people go into quarantine or some shit if they're coming down from Queensland or something. Fucking load of crap.
Races, you know, etc., etc. But he's an example that we don't have to be like that. So great. Now, Tom, I'm going to get Tom to come up here. As you can see, he's come up here. He's an Australian One representative. Now, I went to one of Ricardo Bossi's events, and he's definitely a true leader. That's 100% sure. And when Morgan and I go through and decide which candidates we think are going to be really great for this country through a process that we're going to go through, Australia One is going to be someone that we very likely support. But we are non-partisan, so we don't have to, just so you know. Come up here and tell us why you're involved.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Thomas
Hey,
Lee.
Tom.
I'm a lawyer in Australia. There is something that is bringing us here together, and I think it's the same thing that allowed the previous speaker to speak. We've got to keep believing in ourselves. We've got to continue to stand up for what we believe in. So Australia One is here for Australia. There has been something that's been going on, and it's been motivated by evil. And so we're here to fight that. We're here for good. So we've got to continue. Australia One, I'm going to finish with a basic idea for what Australia One is for, and that is their sovereignty. So with certain things that are being shed from the country to overseas, for example, Australia One here understands that we need to focus more on Australia. So Australia One, check us out. We've got flyers here. We encourage you to become a supporter and to continue with this movement of Australia One. Thank you.
All right, I have an impromptu speech from Jackie over here. I've given her some ground rules, so if she goes off track, I might have to, woo. Nah, I'm joking, Jackie. I'll be good. Hi, Wodonga. I'm from Albury, sorry. Yes. I really just wanted to jump up here today to thank you guys for coming up here. That's really, really awesome. On the flyer, what was it? Have your voices heard. That's fucking important. Sorry. That is so important. And that is, we are being suppressed. Your freedom of speech is probably the most liberating, the most important thing that we could have. We need to be able to speak. If we can't have our voices heard, then they win. We have so much more power than what we are led to believe. And if we all stand together, then there's nothing that they can do. I want to have a mention about unity. We can't call ourselves the 99% if we are ridiculing 90%. We are all brothers and sisters, and we are all together on this. If we don't believe the same things, like you are never going to believe the same things as the person standing next to you. We need to accept our different beliefs and embrace each other. We are not the enemy. The enemy is fucking Dan Andrews. Yeah, so I want to encourage everyone to speak up. Have your voices heard. Tell your truth to your friends on social media, to people that you know or even that you don't know that may not share the same views as you. But we need to be able to share what we believe and hold space for each other and listen to each other. And that's how we learn and that's how we grow. Thanks, everyone. All right. Okay, 5 out of 5. I don't need to introduce this guy.
Oh, thank you. How's everybody going? I love Wodonga. I'm so happy to be back. I used to come here a lot for work, and when I came, I was just busy running around here and there. So it's just really nice to be able to grab a coffee and hang out with you guys. So I haven't prepared a speech, but let me start off by saying that Australia was never designed to have internal borders. Yeah. We're supposed to be a federation here. We're not. The premiers and the governments have no right to divide us by states. We're all Australian. And I want to talk a little bit about laziness. You see, I look at the situation we're in right now with our government, with the emergency powers and the capability that thugs like Daniel Andrews has to impose these rules and unilaterally push these policies that shut us down. For instance, we look at the border closures and we think how many businesses have been destroyed. You know, we look at what happened over Valentine's Day, how many small businesses like florists were destroyed because Daniel Andrews and a small group of his criminal colleagues were able to decide on a whim that, oh, we're just going to shut the whole state down. You know, it's a lazy approach, and it's an approach that should never have been enacted at all, especially when we're talking about a virus that has a survival rate just below 100%. Is that fair enough? Is that fair to say? Okay, and they're treating it like it's some sort of Spanish flu, or that we're under some type of existential threat. Whereas we know the very vast majority of people, even if you come into contact with SARS-CoV-2, you're never gonna die. You're never gonna have your life affected. Only people that are very old that have, you know, comorbidities. Anyway, you guys know all of that, so I'm not gonna get into that. When I think about the history of our country and I look back over the past, let's say, 4 or 5 decades, we've seen a succession of governments and that have enacted trade deals and policies that have slowly stripped away our sovereignty. You look at the state of affairs in Australia today, we don't make anything anymore. Our manufacturing has been completely sold off to foreign entities. We look at people like Daniel Andrews, for instance, that does not have an Australian bone in his body, running off to China, signing deals with the Chinese Communist Party that put our national security at risk, going completely unchecked. You've got a Prime Minister that passes some new legislation called the Foreign Relations Bill that claims that he's going to crack down on these types of deals, and now he's palming the responsibility off to Maurice Payne. You know, it's as if nobody wants to take responsibility for the terrible state of affairs in our country, and that leads me to what we're doing, Monica and myself and many other people. You see, it's come to a point right now where we, the Australian people, we need to actually pay attention to what's going on, and I think we're finally starting to pay attention. We've been very fixated on the AFL and rubbish TV shows like Married at First Sight and all that rubbish, right? Rubbish. And the time has come now to turn off the idiot box and to hold these people to account in office. But not just to hold them to account, for us to roll our sleeves up and actually go and take their jobs. These people in Parliament, most of them, with few exceptions, and I like the Liberal Democrats very much. Let me say that, by the way. They're lazy, they're uneducated, and they have no business representing the good people that pay their bills. Okay, they've had it really good for a really long time. They're making a lot of money. They drive around in complimentary cars, and they have food allowances, and they do what they can to advance their careers at our expense. They've spat in our faces for too long, and I think the time has come that we have to say no more. That's it. We're not going to take it anymore. Yeah. If there's a silver lining to this COVID situation, it's that this could be the kick up the bum that Aussies needed. Okay, a lot of us were sleeping before, not paying attention to politics. A lot of us had the mentality when it comes to election day, you're voting for the red team or the blue team. Yeah. But we're here to say that, no, there are other options. And Monica and I are going to do everything in our power with all the support we've garnered to support as much as we can candidates in the upcoming elections who are good, decent people that actually want to roll their sleeves up and serve the people of this country, not in their own selfish interests. Yeah. Exactly. I'm seeing a lot of promising work from Australia One. I think that you guys are doing a great job. And as Monica said before, you know, if you're running candidates in areas, we want to support you guys. You know, we want to play a role in being part of the solution. So, I mean, who here is willing to play a role in, say, handing out flyers at shopping centres? Yeah. Who here is willing to get involved in taking our country back? All right. We've been trotted on. We've had our faces spat on, as far as I'm concerned, by these selfish politicians. And the time has come for us that, you know, we have to get involved. If they're not going to do their jobs properly and make all this money, you know, I say screw them. We'll go and do it. Yeah. We'll go and do it ourselves. We don't need them. You know, we don't need them dictating what we can do, what we can't do. So what we're doing and what we're looking for are brave, patriotic Australians to step forward who says that they have what it takes to take out one of these criminals from Parliament. That's what we're looking for. So if you think that's you, I want to know from you. I want you to reach out to us. I want to have a conversation. Let's talk about Australia. Let's talk about our freedom, and let's talk about what you want to do in terms of making a difference in this country. And if it all checks out, and if we reckon you've got what it takes, Monica and myself, we will back you 100% and do everything we can to help you take one of those tricks out. I might throw my hand in the ring myself. So, you guys want me to do that? Between you and me, I would love to take one of those bastards out.
Yes.
All right, guys. So that's about it. So there's information you can get in touch with us. We want to find out who the fighters are that are willing to take this fight all the way. And as Monica said, if they shut down that border again, we're coming back. We're walking across it. And Tim's going to join us, aren't you, Tim? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Love you guys. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thanks, Morgan. All right, this will be the concluding talk of the day. Now, I have found out recently that federal members of parliament get paid about $209,000 a year. They don't need to even have a university degree. Can you believe it? So actually, if you want to be a candidate, it's not as hard as you think. You don't even need that much money. You know why? Because you have RDA. We have over 50,000 volunteers willing to roll their sleeves up and get good people voted in that will actually earn that $209,000. Yes, so members of parliament have had it way too easy because there hasn't been an organisation like this ever. You know, they have Get Up. It's a bit different. They actually get paid to be passionate, which isn't the same thing. So you don't need money. All you need is to be properly Australian, as in mentally speaking, to actually care about your fellow constituents and actually listen to their voice. If they protest, I don't know, maybe listen to them. It's not that hard. $209,000 a year, not too hard to listen to people, is it? Instead of taking deals. But anyway, this is what we're doing next, okay? So this green flyer here, now we have lots of them here. I did a fundraiser recently to fundraise money for this marketing, and we've already raised $13,000. And all of these are printed at cost price. It's an amazing deal. You have no idea. It's very, very cheap. So the green one is basically for volunteers, okay? So you can sign up there, and it means that you want to do letterbox drops. You want to hold banners over bridges between 5 and 7 peak hour traffic. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. So we're printing all of this material for you, so you don't even have to do it yourself. And the message that we're running for the next probably 2 months is you can say no. All right? Because you can't inform someone who doesn't know anything on a little flyer, okay? But what we need to do is we need to get into their minds to remember that they have choice. They've been controlled for really decades, actually, into this, you know, into being subliminally messaged to. For example, staying apart keeps us together. What the hell is that? Who believes that crap, honestly? And now it's stay safe, stay open. That is absolutely narcissistical. Like, he's saying if you don't do what you're told, we're going to close you back down again. Yeah? He thinks that we're stupid enough to listen to this crap, right? Anyway, you can say no, basically. And on the back, it's not confronting, guys. You can hand this out anywhere. And I don't even think a Get Up activist could actually damn you for this. There's nothing anti-vax on here. There's nothing. It's just saying, hey, did you remember you have a choice? That's it. So I'm going to be printing hundreds of thousands of these. They are going to go all over Australia because Facebook and Google can't censor this. No. And they can't censor this either. Now, not everyone has the confidence to hand these out, and that is totally fine. You don't have to, okay? But for the people that can, you should. And if you don't want to confront people, put it in letterboxes. You don't have to talk to people, right? But otherwise, you can go to Coles, you can go to Safeway. Now, this isn't just going to be one weekend, guys. This is going to be 2 months, peak hour traffic every single day. Okay? Those banners, they're going to be 10 meters wide, and they're going to go over bridges. You tie them up, you leave them there for 2 hours, you just stand there. If the police come and try and take it down, you say, no, mate, it's free speech, and you keep them up there. And these flyers, you can do whatever you want with. Anyway, so I've got lots of them here. And Morgan's going to be dealing with the candidates, and I'm going to be dealing with the volunteers. And there's never been such a great community of people willing to roll their sleeves up for free to do this. And you cannot pay for passion. So I'm quite certain
that Scott Morrison and Daniel Andrews are shaking in their boots right now. Wouldn't you be? Yeah, yeah. Where is Daniel Andrews? I don't know. Maybe he fell down some more stairs. I don't know.
Have another wine, Dan.
Yeah, all I can say is I obviously wasn't here during the border closure, so I'm not going to pretend to know what it was like. I did hear stories, and it was just, I just can't imagine it. But what I can say is that we will never let you be imprisoned again.
Woo!
Never
Thank
again.
you, Monica. Woo!
So anyway, let's hang out for the next hour or whatever. We'll get some brochures, and now, just so you know, I am finishing now, but the volunteer structure is organised. We are like an organisation now, okay? I know that if you've been following me, I've been flip-flopping around because there's no rule book for this. I don't really know what I'm doing half the time, you know? But what we are doing now is I've got some really great volunteers on board who are helping me actually have a structure in place. So, for example, Marlene might be your point of contact in Wodonga, and she will then help organise mapping for you guys, the bridge, the banners. We'll get all the banners sent to you, and she will distribute them out. So I will communicate with her, and she will communicate with you. And, you know, we're absolutely unstoppable. And like Morgan said, the silver lining to this is that we found each other, and they have been so blatant in their disrespect of our human dignity and rights that they have put a fire in our belly, and now they can't put it out, and they're absolutely screwed, like Morgan said. Sorry. So yeah, go Wodonga! You know what, Dad? You want to say a few words? People want to stay for 3 more minutes to hear my dad talk? I am a product of him and my mother, so it's his fault. It's his fault.
Can you believe I have to live with her every day? This ball of energy. She gets up in the morning, she says, Dad, I got a great idea. Oh yeah, okay. And I'm sitting back, I'm listening. And you know what? I don't comment anymore. I just let it go because I say, what about this one? No. It's going to happen. What we're talking about is going to happen. And I'll give you a little bit of history of my lovely daughter. When the lockdown started about 8 months ago, she came down the stairs and said, Dad, this is not right. There's something wrong here, and I'm going to do something about it. And I said, oh, what are you talking about? I said, Dad, look at this, look at this, look at that. It's all wrong, it's wrong. And that's where it started. And look at the movement she started through her own God-given energy and her talent that she's here today. She's got a lot of guts, I can tell you that. And let me just give you a little bit of history. It goes back to Europe. I was born in Holland, and we left in the 50s to come to Australia. And there are many people around here that are in the same boat. My parents used to talk about what happened during the Second World War. And I'll tell you one little story. There's many stories, but I'll tell you one little story. My mother was an activist, and she was shot at by a German soldier, and the bullet went right past their head. My dad just pulled her back in time. That was 1942. And yet, my parents hit 2 Jewish doctors during the war. And if they would have been found out, guess where they would have ended up? But you know why they did that? Because it was the right thing to do. And that's how Monica feels. It's the right thing to do. And my parents did not live in fear. Somebody dobbed on my parents, and 2 German soldiers came to the door. My mother had 4 plates set up on the table for dinner. That's when they came at that time. Luckily, my mother was very pregnant. She went to the door and she was going, oh, holding her big stomach and all sorts of stuff. And there's a beautiful German soldier there, about 45 years old. He said, we're not coming in here. We're not coming in here. And the next day, that German soldier brought my mother 6 eggs. So there were many good German soldiers at that time. But, you know, he didn't see the 4 plates on the table. My dad took them away. And these two doctors lived upstairs in the attic, and they were there for a long time. So the fear that she didn't have has been transferred onto Monica. You know, there's a propaganda machine that the Germans did during the Second World War. There were good German people. And this propaganda machine is happening here today. In the 30s, it happened in Germany. It's happening here today. You know, we have to be so careful. And people say to me, oh, John, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Let me tell you, I do know what I'm talking about. I've read the books. I've watched the movies. I know that this is what happened in Germany during the 30s. Slowly, the propaganda machine turned people against each other. And what we have today is the vaccinated and the non-vaccinated. They're going to turn each other against each other. So it's a terrible thing that's happening. So, you know, Monica's got fire in her guts. And I'll tell you, all you people here have the same thing. And I know that you're going to go out there and do the right thing, because it is the right thing to do. So I just want to read you one quote from a Canadian politician that I saw on YouTube yesterday. This will not end till people stand up and assert their freedom and uphold the Constitution and the rule of law. Monica and Morgan have the right plan in place to do something about that. So we've had enough, and don't live in fear, and we are coming.
There you go. Dad's got a fire, that's for sure. I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but on Cup Day, my dad was praying. He was kneeling down on the floor with his rosary beads in his hand, and the riot squad, police, are you listening? Your buddies, they yanked my dad's rosary beads out of his hand and arrested him. That's right. You probably didn't know that. My mum did the same thing. My mum was praying. Everyone was sitting around them, protecting them, and the police yanked his rosary beads out of his hands. You probably didn't know that happened because I know that the country police are probably nicer than the Melbourne police. So I do, yeah. It's definitely not personal, but it's going to take us Melburnians in the city a while to trust the police again. When you see my father, whose parents hid Jews, getting his rosary beads yanked, I mean, that's like from a bloody Nazi movie or a communist China like takeover. This is just unacceptable. And my dad has been arrested 3 times. The other time he got arrested was because police attacked and arrested his 65-year-old friend who had just come out of hospital. And my dad walked up to the police to try and inform them that he had just come out of hospital. And instead of caring what he said, they arrested him too. And that old man, I've been brought up with him, he is still in pain from that day about 4 months ago. And on top of that, he has to fight criminal charges because they attacked him. He has to fight criminal charges. So it's this sort of stuff that has put fire in our belly. You see, a lot of people might get afraid by that. But people like you and I, it puts a fire in our belly and we're like, no, it's never happening again. Now I really am finished. Oh, she wants to say. Well, is it happening? Okay. There's one thing I did want to say as well. You guys know that like borders have shut because of one case in Queensland, right?
Yes.
It hasn't even been like identified, and this is what the government can do. One case, you know, winter's coming. Anyway, we're going to come together. It's going to be fine. I hope you guys are all on my Facebook and my Telegram because there's been some issues with the market. There has been a group that has called the market and bullied them and told them that if our stall is there, they're going to go riot it. Yeah, like we're not the problem police. It's actually other people that's a problem. I'm at Proprietary Limited. I have merchandise. I'm a legitimate business. So it's really sad. But where are we going to set up then?
I don't know how many locals are here, obviously quite a few. Remember where the paddle wheel used to be over in Albury as you go across the causeway? There's a lady here who, yes, over here, she's got a little map, if you want to grab that map. She's graciously offered for us to set up our marquee and sell our merchandise, talk to the public and share our little leaflets and everything. And it's just as you go across the causeway, you turn left, where it used to be the paddle wheel. And I think it's near the barbecues there, isn't it? Yeah.
So opposite Triple B?
Yes.
That's where the border was.
Traffic?
Yes.
Traffic?
Yes. Yeah. And we'll be there between 10 and 11, but if everyone else disperses, I'm sure
we're there tomorrow, I believe.
No, I'm here for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we got you here, is because we know that we'll get all that support. And I didn't mention before that I'm sure John and Lise, which is Monica's mum, must be so proud of what she has done and achieved. I think they all should deserve a huge reward because I'm impressed. Thank you.
Yeah, people say stuff like that. It's very nice. But I don't know if you know, but if I wasn't doing this, I'd be super depressed, you know, because this is what I've been trying to do with RDA, and I think one of the reasons it's been somewhat successful is because I've tried to give people actions to transfer that depression and anger into an action. And, you know, even if it doesn't actually work, psychologically you feel empowered to do something with those emotions. So I hope that handing out these pamphlets and doing all that actually makes you feel really good. And people have forgotten that good feeling because culture has taught us to be selfish for a long time. You know, get your job, do your work, have this, have your cake and eat it too, and go to the gym, make sure you're really fit, but don't worry about your mental state. But, you know, so this sort of stuff is really, really important for your mental state. Although I do want you to do it, it is also for you, I promise. So I want a show of hands. There's someone in this crowd who's been thinking after Morgan's speech about candidates. There is someone in this crowd who's thinking, you know what? I don't mind making $209,000 to save the country. So I want to see some hands up. Who thinks they might run as a candidate? Yes. I actually picked you already because of the way you're dressed. Yeah. Who else? Who else? We got 2 hands. No, Dad, I need you. I need your support. You can't do it. I'm joking. Of course he can do it. I'm joking. He actually sends out all my merchandise. And like, I literally wouldn't be able to do this without my parents. My mum cooks for me, and you know, because I don't even have time to like do my own washing. It's crazy. So thanks, Mum and Dad. Anyone else? What about you coppers? You know, $209,000 is way better wage. You'd be a hero. You would be an absolute hero. We are still waiting for a Vic Paul member to come with the people. You would actually change this country and we would hero you forever. Keep that in your mind. You can contact me too. Yeah. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, huge pandemic in it, mate. Yeah, only 2 watching. Doesn't matter. I don't care how many people watch us, man. One person sees it, 1 million people see it. Yeah, I don't care. And to be perfectly honest, I've sort of been seen enough on the internet last week. I think the video that I'm in is now at 250,000 views. It's focused on my missus, so I'm fine with only 2 people being here.
They do the report, put the money in their pocket. Attacking down land with the one is like attacking the tribal lord. Like after the tribal politics. So, yeah, that is like in I am a president for America, not because of the politics. To them, down the land is protecting them from the racism. Yeah. And they see others are racist, and that will be the one.
That's alright, bro. If they're expecting trouble, I'll go down to the market tomorrow at 10 and...
No, not the market.
Not the market, where they're going to be tomorrow. See if there's any trouble there. I doubt there will be. Anyone that says that they're going to cause trouble isn't going to cause trouble. We all know how that works. Yeah, Reignite Democracy Australia sort of only really came to the front during the lockdowns and that, I think. Done quite a lot of stuff.
For your own benefit, you need to say how are you, you need to be polite, you can get a job. Anything else you need, you have to do.
Mrs. involved in it. I'll keep out of it. It's her thing. There's plenty of people here. Where are you, Ben? You're in Victoria, aren't you? You in Vic, Ben? Film some signs and stuff.
And then we're going to get a bus that's been done up.
Good yourself.
So my question,
Sorry.
when I came here today,
Yeah, that was more of a symbolic. That was more of a symbolic thing they did to show the people that they have a proper.
Where's the bag? Where's the bag? Yeah, just. Did you speak to Monica? Speak to Monica? We're live. G'day, I'm Danny. A lot of viewers in state, they've never heard of Reignite Democracy Australia.
Let's go over there and I'll tell them about it. How many people you got there, mate?
5 at the moment.
5. All right. Well, the 5 people out here, are they locals or
No.
No.
Sydney, Queensland.
So Reignite Democracy Australia was born in Victoria during the extensive, terrible lockdowns that Daniel Andrews put on us Victorians, and there was no way for us to protest. So we started an online sort of lobbying protesting group, and that's where it was born. So I thank Daniel Andrews for being such a bad dictator, because he actually created this monster that now he's going to have to deal with. So Reignite Democracy Australia is it's basically a voice for the people. So, as one voice is just one voice, but a whole group of voices is a lot stronger. That's what we do. We've got 50,000 members all over Australia so far. We have international people as well. We're funded by people's donations. We sell a bit of merchandise here and there. We're non-partisan, so we'll support any candidate that is not the big four, Liberal, Labor, Greens and Nationals. So we don't believe in the two-party system. We think there could be another system. And that's what we're advocating for. So for the next 3 months, you're going to see our message all over Australia. The message is you can say no. So basically, it's just about freedom. I'm not here to tell you what to do, because that's what we're fighting against. We don't want to change one dictator to another. So you can say no to whatever you want, and you can say yes to whatever you want. Then after that, we're going to be doing a federal election campaign where we're going to support federal candidates that we think is going to make Australia great again. Sorry, the Trump pun, but it is a good pun, that one, that make Australia great again. So that's what we're doing. So if you want to be a volunteer, you can sign up at reignitedemocracyaustralia.com.au/we-are-coming. And if you want to be a candidate, you can also sign up there as well. Is that it?
That's a lot. Thank you.
There you go.
No
Sales
worries.
spiel. Thanks, mate.
No worries. I'll get a clear scan of the QR code for you. Is that bro? Good? No, I'm not just sick, mate.
Yeah, that's what they're for. Just go out and get them out the box.
So I don't know where my wife has gone. There she is. You got some? Hand out.
Yeah, come in.
Yeah, so I think that's about it here, boys. Yeah, we'll be around tomorrow. So if that's 10 o'clock my time, I'll bug it if I know what it is. Your time.
Hey guys, how are you? You gonna run, are you? You gonna quit your job?
G'day, mate. Don't have any of the blacked out Australia flag on your uniform? Nope. Nope, see? Not all coppers are shit. Some coppers are good. Would you agree?
I'm not going to commit to that, mate.
Well, if you
I'm not going to.
can't agree, I guess you would say that all coppers are shit then. So you'd have to agree, wouldn't you?
Not going to enter that conversation.
No worries. So yeah, no, none of them have the blacked out Australia badge today. So funny about that, isn't it? Do you reckon that was deliberate? So I don't understand it. I mean, I know she's got to be friendly, but not be an arsehole. The cops have arrested her before for doing nothing. Defected the bus that she was using to get around and help spread the message. The day after it had been roadworthy. You know, they're really not her friend, and they're talking to her like they're her best friend. We all fucking know what they're like. If they wanted to, they'd have her on the ground quick as they could blink. They don't care. Yep, that's right. Only pirates have black flags. I like that. Oh, well, I might call it there, guys. Nothing really going to happen here. But I'll probably go to the one tomorrow and see what happens. If it's around, you're around. If not, I'm not sure actually how long my channel will last because I'm on my last strike. This one here. This one might send me over the edge. So if it does, it does. If not, otherwise I'll see you in the morning. Have a good one, guys.